Okay, hi everybody. My name is Cindy Krum and I'm the CEO of MobileMoxie based in Denver, Colorado. We do mobile SEO and ASO consulting and have a awesome mobile tool set for SEO as well as APIs and fun stuff like that. So I'm super excited to be talking to you today at the Ryte Tech SEO All-Stars Better Together webinar. And I'm sorry if we just experienced some technical difficulties or if I can't be live. The internet in my neighborhood has been appalling recently, so I recorded a video for you guys instead, and hopefully I'll be able to join you for Q&A. But just to be safe, we got you a video. And today I'm talking about language and SEO. You're doing it all wrong with the theme of coffee, because coffee is kind of an international language. Everyone loves coffee, or at least tea. Warm drinks that are brown are fantastic. So let's start by stating the obvious, that algorithms are language specific. And this is important because different languages use different words or even different numbers of words to convey the same idea. Languages are different, and that is important to algorithms, especially Google's. But people get very confused when talking about language and how it impacts SEO, because there are a lot of different things that come into play or that people think come into play. There is the country version of Google that you're operating in. You can see this one is google.de. There is the query language, which does not have to match the country version of Google. You can see in this one, I've written something in Spanish. And then there is the search language settings, or the phone settings, that Google pulls in to understand what is the language of your choice, your default language that you operate in. And all of these things can have an impact on SEO and results and the way you track things, but most SEOs are forgetting about that last one, the search language settings, which does in fact impact rankings. So if we look at Search Console, it looks like this, and you can see across the bottom we have queries, pages, countries, devices, search appearance, and dates, but no language. They don't talk about language, and language is important. And I think that they've omitted language here because it just adds a whole nother level of complexity in the reporting, because Google can often, it seems, detect language and interpret meaning from the language that you're choosing to use and how it relates to other settings on your phone and your search query. For instance, if I ask, how do I say X in Spanish, Google understands that returning a different language result, or at least translation result, is valuable. So they understand intent as it goes along with language, but they don't report back on it. And I think that this is just to simplify the reporting, because it is important, but it's just to make their system easier for you guys, for everyone to get information out of. The problem with that is it makes us optimize for what's easy to measure, aka what's easy to measure in Search Console, while ignoring what's difficult to measure. And the impact of language on SEO is difficult to measure, but that's not to say that we shouldn't try. And this is especially important in places where multiple languages are spoken, and multiple languages are spoken often, and people are multilingual. So less important in the United States, and more important in places throughout Europe and the rest of the world where people are actively multilingual and search using different languages frequently without actually changing their language settings, because of course people do not change their language settings even if they speak multiple languages. Now I know what you're thinking. Look at the American discovering that the rest of the world isn't like America, and yes, I know. But as an SEO, I've focused on mobile SEO and international SEO. So Google cares about it very much as well. And you should care about it very much, which is it's especially important to companies who target tourists or immigrants, whose website facilitate international business, whose website serves international clientele, or who tend to be dealing with mobile users who have language settings that are impacting their search results. So let's talk about how normal setup of a keyword tracking goes. So this is normal, where you have Switzerland and you're saying I'm in Switzerland, and I set it up for Swiss German, and here's my German or Swiss German keyword list, and you put those things together. And you do the same for Italian. So in Switzerland, they have 4 key languages, really 3 that are big, French, German, and Italian. And so we do Switzerland and then the Italian, and we put the Italian keywords there, and Switzerland and French, we put the French keywords there. That's how the normal setup is. Or if you're using other tools that don't allow you to specify a language, maybe you're just specifying a country. That's also normal. The problem is that doesn't give you as accurate a result as what you might need, and it misses showing you opportunities that are actually there. So let's do a test. We're going to do a local-oriented query from Zurich where multiple languages are spoken. And let's go ahead and do it from the Google offices in Zurich. That's fine. And we'll do 3 people sitting together, and let's pretend they have the exact same phone, exact same everything, location and everything. The only thing that will change is their location, their language settings. And so first we'll start with something normal. We'll have a German language setting, and we'll do a query in German. We'll have a French language setting, and the query in French, an Italian language setting, and the query is in Italian. These are different keywords. So of course they give different results, but the results are actually very different. And so if you're tracking things separately, it's hard for you to really understand the heavy impact that not only to tease out the impact that the language setting has and the impact that the keyword itself has. So you can see, for instance, here Zurich.com only shows up in 2 of the 3 languages. Cafe CH is just killing it in Italian, but is nowhere else to be seen in the other 2 languages. Coffee Circle is showing up twice in German, once for the .com, once for the .ch. Cafe Central showing up twice, but only in German. Timeout and a timeout image carousel. You're not going to know about that image carousel if you're only using Search Console. Trot.ch showing up twice, but only in French. And Zurich.com showing up twice, but only in French and Italian. And this is what it looks like when you take out the Google-oriented queries, the things that Google has put in there. Remember, these are things like search by image, interesting finds, carousels, stuff like that. So, okay, I know what you're thinking. Duh, they're different keywords. You're going to get different results. That has nothing, that's not the search language. Let's take a look at a keyword that's the same in multiple languages. So we're starting with espresso in Italian. And we go, and you can see that the Annunzio, that's Italian, and we've got a espressorepublica.it, and then a map, and then a Twitter carousel, Wikipedia with some images, kind of a long Wikipedia. There's Facebook, espresso.it with a big web store image, and then we get to the bottom, and you can see it says Italiano. So we're going to click on German. We're going to switch. We've still got the ads. You can tell that it's German because that top nav and the ad announcement is now in German. Now we start with the knowledge graph. It's got different pictures, and it's got a carousel. We get the maps. Now we're going to compare side by side. The left side still has the Italian result. And you can see that even the map was a little bit different. So that shows us that it's not the query that's necessarily changing the result. It's the language setting. And so let's dig into this, because I think a lot of people forget this and don't realize how it works in a search result. And you might be missing huge opportunities in your SEO because of that. Because just changing the language of a query is not enough to get a valid test result or a valid reporting result from any of your tools, and just changing the country version is not enough. There are 3 things that impact the way you target languages. And this is also important from a standpoint of if you're looking at knowledge graph or featured snippets. Google is actually changing the knowledge graph to fit your phone language. So this was a search for Amazon, written in English, but the phone language is Hindi. And so you can see that they've translated the knowledge graph into Hindi, because I've said, I speak English. Go back up, go back up. See, it's written in English, but they're translating the knowledge graph and some of the stuff that they host to fit my preference. And they're translating a lot of the headlines and the calls to action, but the results, because I searched in English, are still in English, the blue link results. And this is important. Only one language can be passed, and it's your top language setting. So even if you select multiple languages, every searcher only gets one language that's going to impact search queries. And search results can change based on that language setting, even when everything else is the same. And you see that for the impact of knowledge graph and from Espresso. So the knowledge graph can also change. It's not just what the knowledge graph says, but the results and the way it's formatted can change. And then featured snippets, what wins the featured snippet, can change based on the language setting. So let's do the new test. Same thing, 3 people sitting together at the Zurich headquarters, and the only thing that's different is the phone language settings. And remember, people are multilinguals. So here what we have is the German language setting, the French language setting, and the Italian language setting, but the keyword is always the German spelling of coffee. And you can see by the color coding that things are dramatically different here. And for instance, Wikipedia shows up in all 3, but in different places. Only one of them has a knowledge graph. Only one of them has people also ask. 2 of them have search by image. And then within that, the actual websites that are there are very different. And then that's what's taken from Google. So what you can see here is that actually understanding that someone whose language setting is French, but might be searching for a German keyword, you have a much better chance of getting their attention when you block out all the stuff that Google is taking, because German is full of Google stuff that's hard to outrank and also takes attention away. But in French and Italian, there's less competing for the eyeballs. And when people, in a place where people speak these languages interchangeably, that might be really relevant for your SEO strategy. So here's the same thing, but we're searching with the French spelling of the keyword. And this one, it's not so different. They all have search by image. Only 2 have Wikipedia. They all have maps. Only one has people also ask. There's a translation answer, and this one shows a knowledge graph at the bottom in the German with French keyword. And they also show just different number of results in here. And of course, dig deep and let your eyes settle, and you'll see that there are different websites ranking as well. And there's what Google takes out of that one. So again, even here, German, it's not just because German and German matched in the previous one. German just has a really high integration of Google hosted things. And we see this, even the tool softwares will report that different languages have a different amount of hosted inclusions from Google, different featured snippets, different percent or likelihood of featured snippets, and different likelihood of knowledge graph. And that changes by language and by country. So here, the only thing that shows up a lot is Zurich.com, shows up in all 3 searches, but at the very top in Italian. And some things are just showing up in one query language, search language combination, or a lot of them, most of them, let's say. Zay Heringer shows up in 2, and Harry's Ding. I don't know. You guys are laughing at me. I'm probably mispronouncing that. But that one only shows up in 2. Okay, so here's the last one. This is the Italian spelling with the different language settings. See, again, they are different. Map results in each, but in Italian, with the Italian language setting, it's showing up 1 down after CapACH, which also owns the 3 results after the map pack, which is insane. Only knowledge graph is in German. They're just great at those German knowledge graphs. And then interesting finds is only in German, but search by image is only in French and Italian. So that's what Google takes there. And that's how good CapACH is, just killing it in Italian. It's okay in French, and it's totally gone when the language setting is in German. So that's that. So what I want to recommend that you do in my little time left is to not do things the way you were, but instead mix all, if you're working in a place that speaks multiple languages and that people are likely to be multilingual and searching without changing their language settings, pack all of the keywords in each language setting in your keyword tracking. This is an example with SEMrush, but whatever you're using, if you have the ability to do so, put all of the keywords in all of the languages in each group and set up a group for each language setting, but keep the keyword list the same. So all of the translations there, and do this, in this case, 3 times, once for French, once for German, and once for Italian, because then you're really going to see the more realistic scenario of what's ranking where, even when people are not searching in the same language as their phone setting, because this is quite common. If you're multilingual, you know you probably will search in any of the languages that you speak without changing the setting. So include all keywords in all languages for the country, and for each country language combo, do a separate setup in SEMrush or whatever tool that you're using. So think about it like this, not like this, right? You're too constricted the way that the way that most SEOs do it. And then test and look at real results with all the settings. And this is where I mentioned that MobileMoxie has a tool that lets you see real search results. It's what those screenshots were all from. And it lets you even do local search results with changing the phone language. And they're clickable and interactive, and you can see them from anywhere, and you can generate a radius grid like that. And it's a cool tool for getting a realistic understanding of how the variations might change, or how the location impacts things and things like that. And we also have the ability to export all of those tests to a Google Sheet like this, and then you could just click on the icon to run the test with the different language settings. So you can put all your keywords in and change the language setting just casually, and click and check it out. So I created a promo code so you guys can try it. Here you go. And I hope that I'm under time, and I hope that we have time for Q&A. Thank you.